Welcome back everyone to another Unreal Engine 4 episode, and in this video we are going to add stairs to our build system. So the first thing what I want to do is I want to create a rotation system for our stairs, because for stairs I want them to stack on a log in all directions. I want one to be over here, one possibility over here, and over here, so that the stairs can rotate all around and go in any of the directions. So for that I will go to my keyboard R event, and here I will drag these out a bit, and I will do a switch on integer, switch on int. I will add 2 pins, one for the 0 which goes in here. Actually we need to change the start index to be 1, because for the floor we don't want to rotate floor, we want to rotate wall, which is 1. And the selection is our build ID, and for index 2 I want to do another switch on int, and here I want to create a new variable which I'm gonna call stair rotation. I'm gonna call this stair rot, and I will add this to the selection, and I will add 4 pins, 1, 2, 3, 4, and on every single one of them I will set this variable. So now what I will do is simply set these values, and I don't like this, there we go. So on the 0 this will be 1, then we will have 2, 3, and the ending one, last one, will be 0. So that now every time if we have selected the stairs and we press R, this will loop through the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. There we go. Now let's create a new function which I'm gonna call build stair preview. So this function will be a little messy. We will have a lot of things hard coded into this. There is a way how to make this more convenient, but I will leave it up to you guys as a homework, because I am already feeding a lot of things to you with a spoon. So this will be a small task for you guys to figure out how to make this whole blueprint cleaner, because by the end of this, well, this will look a little messy, but it's gonna work, and it's gonna work great. So let's begin. First thing, I will do a switch on integer, and the selection is our stair rotation. Then for this we need 4 outputs for every single one of our directions. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then from every single one of these we are going to do a if branch checks to see if our build rotation is equal to this 0 value. Just to make sure. Sometimes the Unreal Engine, I don't know if, I think everything should be good, but sometimes Unreal Engine changes these values just a little notch, just a tiny bit. So what I will do is type in 0.1. This basically is the, like it says, error tolerance. And yeah, we will copy this thing for every single one of our exits from the switch, like so. There we go. Then the next thing what I will do is move this up, and let's work on the first one. So here on the true we will do a loop flow control, and the last index is going to be our wall height. This will basically, the wall height will determine the length of the stairs, since we already have a variable which gives us a number from 0 till 9 for the height of the walls. We can use the same variable for the length of the stairs. Then from the index what we want to do is multiply this by 50, since my stairs are 50 in the y-axis. And then we also want to multiply this by 25, since in my case my model is set up this way so that this would be 25. Basically, if we So let me show you. Let's add one stair. Let's add another one. Let's align this perfectly with the previous one. So now if we would go out 50 in the y-axis, so 50, and if we would go 25 below, so this would be 5. There we go. So if we go down 25, you can see that this is aligning perfectly for the next step. So that's why I'm using 25 units in this case. And then the next thing I want is my build location 1 to know where my selected log is located. So let's split this. Then what we want to do is, well, let's drag in our build instance. Let's add an instance to the world space, and this goes in the loop body. Let's split the world transform. Let's make a vector for the location, and let's drag this out a bit. Let's move this down, and let's connect our build rotation over here. So the rotation would be set automatically. And now for the location, what we want to do is connect our X directly in this case. For the Y, let's do a plus, float plus float. Let's add another pin. So the first one is our build Y. The second one is going to be our index times 50 value. And for the third one, I don't want the first step to be inside of the log. I want this to be next to the log. So since I know that the wide width of the log is 50, I'm going to type in 50. And this goes into our Y value. Now for the Z axis, we want to do our Z minus, because the steps will go downwards. I want to do minus this index times 25. And this goes into our z-axis like so. Now for the false value, let me move this up. Let's copy the whole thing to make this a little quicker. Connect this to the false, and let's see. So what we want to change is, let's see, so the z-axis I believe should stay the same. This should change. So for now let's disconnect this only, and let's disconnect X because Y can go by default, and the X now needs to be minus float minus this value right here. Make sure that you are removing this value from this value rather than the other way around, otherwise you will have issues with the locations. They will bug, and yeah, the stairs will not appear. So now let's test this out to make sure that this part at least is working properly. Let's press play. Let's build a wall. Boom. Let's select a stair. Let's click on something. And this does not appear, of course, because in the event graph we need to connect our build stair preview. Otherwise it destroys the function completely. So now I always forget to do that step somehow, although that is pretty much the most important step. So now if we click on this and scroll up and down, you can see we are creating our steps. There we go. So we have steps in one direction, but that's the only direction they are working in. Because if we press R, you can see that it only works in one direction, because we have set things up only for the stair rotation 0. So now let's work on the next one. So again, to make things quicker, what I will do is simply copy this part. There we go. Let's connect our if branch check. So this will be the true and this will be the false value. Now let's work on this a little bit. So here we are changing the Y value, but since this will be rotated 90 degrees, it will come from a side. this will not be the Y value, so let's delete this, or better yet, let's just simply disconnect this like so. Let's move this out of the way for now, and what we want to do is connect our Y directly. There we go, and this now will be our X, so let's do X plus this index value and plus 50, and this goes into our X like so. And the next thing, like I said, I know this will be a sideways, side rotation-ish kind of thing. So what I want to do is, for this build rotation, I want to do a combine rotator. So this is basically rotator plus rotator. And what I want to do is add minus 90 degrees on this to align, rotate properly according to our log piece. So now for the bottom one, what we want to do is, let's again drag this out a bit, and let's do the same thing again. Let's do a combine rotator. And what I want to do here is do a plus 90 on the z-axis. There we go. Now for this thing, what we want to swap again is the X. So X goes directly in and the Y goes inside of this one, and now this is the Y axis that we have right here. So yeah, follow, I hope you do, because these changes are very small, and like I said, this can be done way cleaner, but you guys gonna have to figure this out on your own this time. So now let's check out the second rotation. Let's add a wall. So now we have this, press R, and as you can see, the stairs are rotating in the next direction, like so. Well, you might think now, wait, why is this halfway through this? Well, you can remove a little more from this, but I don't think it's very necessary, because normally you would have a floor like this. So now everything looks perfectly fine, but that's up to you guys. If you want, you can remove a little more from your y-axis if you like, but that's basically up to you guys. Just play with these values a little bit. You can minus some more, add some more, depending on the sizes of your meshes. So now let's set up the last two. What I will do is select this second part, and I'm gonna copy excuse me, and I'm gonna copy this 2 times. So there is once and there is twice. There we go. This is a lot of hard coding. So let's connect this. True, false. Same thing goes for this one. True, false. There we go. So now in this one, what we want to do is, let's remove this completely, and let's connect the X directly this time, and let's do build location Y minus the index times 50 value. This goes into the Y axis, and for the combined rotation we want to do 180. And in the bottom one, what we want to do is, for our Y, we want to do a plus, float plus float, add a pin. The bottom one is 50, since our logs are 50, and we can plus our index value times 50, and this goes into the Y, and the combined rotator again is 180. Now let's move down to the next one, and what we want to do here is again delete this plus node and do X minus the index value, and we want to do another minus, and this time it is 50 since our logs are 50 wide. I'm gonna move this back a little, connect this like so, drag this out a bit, and for our combined rotator this needs to be 90. And let's see. So the last one, again, this I believe minus can go away, and the y-axis goes directly inside of it, and for the x-axis we want to do a plus and add another pin, and this is our newly created x value. So build x plus index times 50 plus another 50 for the width of our mesh, and this last combined rotator needs to be added, a 180 in the z-axis. So this is the mesh that we have created. Let's compile and save this, and let's see how this works in real life examples. So I will create two separate walls in separate rotations. Well, let's add the third one as well for the hell of it. And now so here we have, so this is working good. We are rotating this and it works in all directions, and the same thing goes for this one, except for, yeah, I think it's fine. We just should probably change maybe some we could change the order, but I believe this is good enough. It's not that big a difference. If you want, you can change the rotations basically just a tad bit. So there was a small issue. So on our rotation 2, once we go to the false, so third one from the bottom, this instead of 180 needs to be 90. I don't think I changed this because we had one small issue, like you noticed once I was previewing this. So now everything should be great. So now let's test this out once more. Yes, so now everything is aligning perfectly. One of these was not rotating properly. That was because the combined rotator was set to be a little faulty. So that's going to be it for the stairs. The stairs are locking into their place properly. Everything seems to be working just fine. We can build a house for ourselves. And everything seems to be working just fine. So there we go. We have a building, we have a door hole, we have stairs, we have everything that we need in our building. So this is going to be it for this tutorial. I don't know yet what we are going to do in the next one. Maybe add windows, maybe perhaps we could destroy some of these logs to make holes for the windows, to make holes for the doors, so that we don't have to make doors the way I just did, but rather we can just simply remove some specific instances from our build. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned, subscribe, leave a comment, like, all that good stuff, and see you guys in the next episode.